The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/expat2020. Hey everybody, welcome to The Arena, Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, episode 24. I'm your host, Expat, along with my my co-host, I should say, Retro Dan. Dan, how you doing today, man?
I'm all right. I'm very glad to be guesting on your show today.
I'm sorry about that, man. It's been a day. Yeah. So, how are things treating you out there in the UK, man?
Yeah, not much to report. Still locked down, still spending a lot of time at home, a bit bored, but, getting the games done, and, so it's all right. How are you getting on back out there in Japan?
It's raining today, and we're probably going to get a little bit of snow tonight, so, but it's the weekend, so inside, just relaxing, kicking back. I was watching some of WandaVision last night.
Oh, that's out now, isn't it? Is it any good?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, on Disney Plus. Yeah, episode 3 was last night, so I was watching that.
I might start watching that today.
Yeah. So everything else is going well. The wife and kids are out shopping right now for food and everything else. Just so it's just you and I right now. So
and the cat.
And the cat, yeah, actually the cat, we bought him a new little house that he can sleep in. So he's in the living room on the sofa in his house sleeping.
Well, I never.
All right. So before jumping into what Dan and I have been playing this week, I want to tell everyone out there that this episode will be going up on Patreon at patreon.com/expat2020 in early access for the first 3 days after recording. So if you'd like to support the show and become a patron at the entry tier 1 level at $1 per month and get early access to every episode and listen ad-free, along with other perks, including exclusive post-show content that we do after every show and special bonus episodes, please visit patreon.com/expat2020 for further details. And I want to just add our newest patrons, of course, Burlyman Gaming. He's our first patron, so we want to thank you for that. And also, my podcast co-host, Dan, became a patron. Yes. Yeah. So, anyway, I want to also, Burlyman Gaming. Yeah, he's a great fan of the show. He's been on a couple of times. So, he's one of our patrons. So, we wanted to give him a shout out for that. Yeah. On Tuesdays each week, the podcast will be uploaded to all of the free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, Spotify, Amazon Music, and my YouTube channel, Expat 2020 Gaming. Just download your favorite podcast app or open Spotify and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a website for the podcast at expat2020.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at the Arena AMPGNP, which stands for a multi-platform gaming news podcast, and leave questions or comments that we may read on a future episode. So, Dan, I'm still playing Hive Busters. Progressing through there, and I'm still playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla little by little. I'm really looking forward to this coming week, and we're going to be talking about that later in the show, the new game called The Medium, which is going to be coming to Game Pass day 1. I'm really looking forward to playing that, and I'm probably going to be live streaming that day 1. So I'm really looking forward to that. So what have you been playing, man?
Well, I've been playing some more retro games, just dipping in and out of a few things, seeing what I like. I streamed Grandia the other day, a PS1 JRPG, It looks amazing. It's got 3D rendered backgrounds, like 3D in real time 3D, and it's got 2D classic sprites laid over it. So it looks quite good. It's a very interesting look, but I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get into the world and the very slow pace of it. So I might have to abort on that one. And when I wasn't playing that, I've been playing a load of Lego DC Villains.
Wow.
Which is good because I'm a big fan, as you know. I'm a big fan of the Lego games. I've got platinum on all the Lego games except for Lego Marvel Avengers 2, simply because there's just way too much stuff to do on that game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But so I've been playing Lego DC Villains. It's been quite fun, but it's it's basically has to carry me over until the Skywalker saga comes out.
Yeah,
because as you know,
that was about to say that.
Yeah, that was supposed to come out for Christmas, but it got delayed probably due to COVID, and it's not coming out until it was supposed to be this month, but I think it's been pushed back till March or something now.
Yeah, something like that. Early spring, I think. So
that'll probably be the last, because I'm kind of burning out because they are all very, very, very similar. So I think after this one, I think Traveler's Tales might be worth like starting a new franchise or starting a new type of game.
Well, the last Lego Star Wars was Force Awakens, wasn't it? Because they didn't come out with The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. So
there was some DLC, but I think the plan is to wrap it all up. So it's going to cover all 9 episodes to some degree, and I'm excited because I like the I like Lego games. I like Lego Star Wars games quite a bit. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, cool. And also, when it comes to games that I've been playing this week, I did actually get on my PS4 Pro and I played some Galaga and the original Pac-Man for a little while. So a little bit of retro in there. Yeah. So yeah, I was, when I was in elementary school, I was really huge on Galaga. I loved that. So especially at the arcades. So yeah. All right.
How did you play that? Sorry, just to quickly jump in. Is there like a compilation, or is there like a little download, or can you buy it on the
it was
store?
an Arcade Classics compilation that's on PS4. You can get it on in the PS store. So and it has Pac-Man and it's got Galaga and some other retro titles to it. So it's pretty cool. So yeah. Okay, so there's a lot to get to today in the news beat. The first story I want to talk about here is the Cyberpunk patch 1.1 that's come out. Dan, you've heard about this, right?
Yep.
So this is from the Cyberpunk site, and it talks about patch 1.1 for Cyberpunk 2077 is now available on PC, consoles, and Stadia. So you console players out there, now you're going to get some bug fixes. So from what they say here, in this update, we focus on various stability improvements, which you can find outlined in the patch notes. For example, memory usage improvements in various systems within the game, characters, interactions, navigation, in-game video, for example, news, TV, foliage, laser effects, minimap devices, AI, street traffic, environmental damage system. So a lot of that. Various crash fixes related to, among others, loading saves, game opening, closing, and point of no return. And then they talk about quests and open world and many different issues that they've fixed. I'm not going to read into all of those, but a lot of the open world quest areas are going to have fixes as well. The UI, for example, fixed an issue where prompt for exiting brain dance could be missing and removed an invalid item from loot. And then various visual fixes, achievements, fixes, and miscellaneous. For example, issues responsible for saves getting oversized. So, yeah, a lot of stuff going on here, Dan. So what do you think of all this?
On a quick aside, do you remember when you played Alien Isolation on the PS4?
Yeah.
Do you remember the save files were massive?
Yeah.
They were like a gig. Anyway.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Anyway, that's just reminding me of that. Well, this patch is you've brought a water pistol to like a house fire.
Yeah,
So
pretty much. Yeah.
brilliant. Again, give me a call in August, and I'll be interested in the game. Yeah,
Yeah.
good for him, but you know, the state that, because I've gone back and I've actually learned a bit more about the actual state of the game. I watched a few videos of people playing it, and holy shit. I didn't. I knew it was bad, but when you go back and actually watch these people playing this game, it's criminal that thing got released.
And what were they playing it on? Were they playing it on last gen consoles?
It was a mix. So obviously that was abysmal. People were playing on the stock PS4 and Xbox One, but also the PC doesn't get away scot free. The PC has numerous issues, as do the next gen consoles, and I cannot believe the state of that bloody game. So the fact that they've released a patch 1.1, forget about it. You want patch 1.9.9.9 before it's even worth talking about.
Yeah, like they were talking about in the roadmap, it's like the next patch, I think 1.2 is going to be coming out in February, and then probably later in the year you're going to see more of the updates. So I mean, a lot of people like me included, I'm probably not going to be playing this game until later in the year. So
forget about it. Up until like Q3, up until autumn, forget about this game entirely. Don't bother. If you bought it, put it down. Wait 6 months till they finish making the bloody thing, and then play it when it's complete.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's such a mess. I feel. I take the piss out of people who pre-order games, because if you pre-order games, there is something fundamentally wrong with you. So, but like, the idea of like, how bad it is. Like, I mean, like, people like have lived for this game, and it's like you get it, and it's just like this, and it's just shit.
Yeah, well, like I was saying before, there are some people, they're in the minority, but there are some people that played from start to finish, and of course they had bug issues and everything, but they really, really enjoyed playing the game, and the stability was not the problem. There were just some bugs and things like that, but they got through the game and they really enjoyed it. But of course, they're in the minority. But
yeah.
So,
no, good for them. I'm glad they got something out of it. But Christ.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the majority of people, though, they're like you said, they're going to put this game down and they're going to wait until a lot of these patches are, brought out, and then probably sometime later in the year, either late second or third quarter of the year, they'll start to play it again. But
I think
we shall see.
Yeah, what can you do?
Yep. Okay, let's get to the next story, and this was a big one. So, as you know, Microsoft has Game Pass, but before Game Pass was a reality, of course, you had Xbox Live Gold, and Xbox Live Gold is like the online service. And so Xbox came out just the other day and said, all right, basically 1 year of Xbox Live with Gold is going to be doubled in price to $120 a year.
Jeez.
And it just blew up over the internet and on Twitter and everything. Everybody was freaking out about that. And I think, first of all, I really want to know. I mean, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall in these meetings at Microsoft, because apparently they've been having like 12, 14-hour meetings a day on this. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall to hear who it was that actually let this go forward. Because this is not very PR friendly. So basically $120. And I think the strategy that they were thinking of was, okay, we want to get people off of Gold and make them jump over to Game Pass, like Game Pass Ultimate for $15 a month, which is more expensive, because I think 1 month of Gold is like $9 a month, $9.99 or something like that. Well, today, of course, Microsoft backtracks on Xbox Live Gold price hike. So it's going to remain the same as it was before they came out and said there was going to be a price hike. And now, like PlayStation and Nintendo, for example, all games, if you have free-to-play games like Fortnite or whatever, you will not have to have an Xbox Live subscription to be able to play and use the services. So I want to read real quick. This is Microsoft's full statement, which they delivered today. So They said, "We messed up today, and you were right to let us know. Connecting and playing with friends is a vital part of gaming, and we failed to meet the expectations of players who count on it every day. As a result, we have decided not to change Xbox Live Gold pricing. We turn this moment into an opportunity to bring Xbox Live more in line with how we see the player at the center of their experience. For free-to-play games, you will no longer need an Xbox Live Gold membership to play those games on Xbox. We are working hard to deliver this change as soon as possible in the coming months. If you are an Xbox Live Gold member already, you stay at your current price for renewal. New and existing members can continue to enjoy Xbox Live Gold for the same prices they pay today. In the US, $9.99 for 1 month, $24.99 for 3 months, $39.99 for 6 months, and $59.99 for retail 12 months. Thank you." So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think Phil Spencer probably stepped in and said, "What the hell is going on here? Change this right now."
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What do you think, Dan?
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a really, really dumb idea. Yeah, but I remember Sony did the same. Sony, upped their prices quite a bit. I think it was actually in the UK, it went up from £35 to £50, which is a bloody big leap.
Yeah.
Considering, and that's just for online play and like the PlayStation monthly, offerings.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, what it was crazy, and they've backtracked on it. But I think the Xbox thing's a bit of a mess, though. I think they should have one, because there's like 3 different things you can have, isn't there?
Yeah, well, you have you have Xbox Live Gold, and then you have the base Game Pass for console and for PC, and then you have Game Pass Ultimate that bundles everything together.
Right. Yeah. So it just seems like a mess. Just
as well
everything.
Yeah, as well as with if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you also get xCloud functionality as well.
Right.
But yeah, that's still, I mean, $15.99 a month. So
it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think.
So, I mean, you figure these people that are just playing, the free to play games like say Fortnite or whatever, and they don't care about having a Game Pass subscription because they're not playing all of these games. I mean, that would make them have to pay like an additional $8 or so a month. So that's that was the big negative on this. And then again, a lot of people that were on Twitter and roaring about this was worried about the fact that if this were to stay in effect, that would give PlayStation some type of incentive to, okay, we're going to push ours up as well. That would give them the incentive to say, hey, they're doing it, so we can do it too, to make more money.
But I don't know, because I think Sony's already charging far too much. They're already chancing their arm, because all you get with the Sony one is leftover games and the ability to play online. And like I said, it's like unless you know what you're doing, unless you shop around and wait for the deals, it's £50 a year. I mean, essentially just to play online. I mean, the games are all right. Don't get me wrong, but that's too much. Like what they're charging. I haven't bought it in years because I don't get anything out of it. But I wouldn't think that Sony would up the price now. That'd be mental.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, at least Microsoft is admitting that they were wrong here, and the fact that they're going to be giving the Xbox Live Gold membership is now not required to play games like Fortnite, free to play games and stuff like that. Now I think that's a move in the right direction, but I mean, it's like, why did they do this in the first place?
Well, yeah,
and who approved it? I mean, that's what I would like to know. So,
well, again, you got to figure, like, all these exclusives, all these big titles that come out at launch day for essentially free. It's like, I don't know how they can make money from this. I still don't understand it. Because I mean, like, if Halo Infinite is obviously that's going to come to Game Pass, right?
Yeah, day one.
So, and I don't care. I need someone like to explain this to me at a very simple level. I don't see how a game that would sell like 3 million copies at launch day for £50 or $70 each. how they can make up for that loss by charging you $5.99 a month. I can't see how it makes money. I literally, it baffles me. I don't know how you can essentially give away the only games that are going to make this console money. It's bonkers.
Well, and we don't really know exactly how many subscribers there are right now.
No?
I know it's in the millions, but
Yeah. But even so, even if you have, let's imagine, okay, let's, for pedantry's sake, say you've got like, 5 million Game Pass subscribers, all paying like $6 a month or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Versus the same amount of people, within the first 6 weeks of Halo Infinite coming out, buying the thing at full price. It just, I don't know. And then you got to count all the other games. Like, how are they going to make any friggin' money on this service?
Yeah, it's I don't know.
I mean, you think like Netflix and the other streaming services charge a similar amount of money, but they only buy the license of things. I don't know. It just it's. I mean, fair play to them for trying it, but I can't see it going forever. It just can't. It's unsustainable.
Well, I don't know, man. Maybe they've got some deals that we don't know much about, where they're making money from these publishers and things like that. I don't know, for putting it on Game Pass or whatnot. I don't know. So
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah,
they aren't. I can't see how they can recoup on Halo Infinite, which has had
you say 5 million subscribers. I mean, what if it's like 50 million subscribers? I don't know.
Yeah, but
who knows? Who knows?
That's as maybe, but it still comes to the point that's 50 million potential buyers of the full retail game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's a sustainable model.
Yeah. But I think what their main objective was here in the beginning was to phase out gold by trying to get people to jump on board with Game Pass. And this was kind of like, okay, we'll pump up the price and that'll make them jump over. Of course, but that didn't work. But but I think eventually Xbox Live with gold is going to go away. I think eventually. But we'll see. So.
I don't know why they both don't just do that. I think the idea of paying for online is ridiculous. Paying for online multiplayer is absolutely ridiculous. That is absolute lunacy. So they should both just get rid of that and just have a monthly subscription service where you get games and discounts and additional bonus materials. Just do away with it, because why?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Game Pass and subscriptions and subscription services, our next story is basically pertaining to PS5 and Xbox Series X, and PS5 sold nearly twice as many units in 2020 as Xbox Series X. Xbox barely holds a lead in the US, and it's funny, it also holds the lead in China too. Well, but then again, I mean, PlayStation is a Japanese company, so there you go. But it barely holds the lead in the US with just a fraction of a percentage point over the PS5. So, I mean, as availability through retail outlets increases throughout the coming months, what do you think, Dan? Do you think there's a chance that Xbox could catch up in some regions? I mean,
nah.
What about over there in the UK where you are?
Not a bloody chance.
Not a chance, huh?
I've not heard of the Xbox in months since it came out. The news, it's really actually quite weird, because it's actually like a newsworthy event how in short supply the PS5 is over here.
Yeah,
like we still get reports. Like there are websites and like news outlets that dedicate. They have a daily update of PS5, waiting by it, and where the next pre-orders will become available. So. No, I don't think I don't think Xbox will be catching up anytime soon. Not without something bloody drastic coming. I think I don't know what's the availability here. I don't know about the Xbox, but I know you can't get a PS5 for beans here, which is annoying. I'm trying to get one.
Yeah, well, as I said before in previous podcasts, I was really, really lucky to get a Series X, here in Japan. I mean, I just happened to be in the electronics store and they had a few in stock. I was really shocked and I was able to pick one up. But, no luck at all with PlayStations. They're still, for example, you go to Amazon and it's like currently unavailable.
Yeah.
And it's been like that for months now. And as we were talking about before off of the show, that probably one of the reasons for that is because they're moving stock away from Japan and sending them over there to the UK and to Europe and to America, where more people are going to be playing console gaming, so.
Well, that ties into your, a couple of news stories you've got coming up. We'll talk about that again a little bit later.
Yeah.
But why bother dumping stock in a market that just does not care?
Yeah.
So
The interesting thing about this, though, a little bit interesting, is the fact, though, that Xbox is starting to pick up a little bit more market share. It's it's a little over 39% in 2020. So gradually over the last few years, it's been starting to pick up a little bit more market share. But yeah, like you were saying before, there's probably no chance of it actually catching up and overtaking PlayStation. I mean, there's just too many PlayStations out there. I mean, if there's 120 million PlayStation 4s, you figure at least 75, 80% of those players are going to continue with that ecosystem. And when you had an Xbox One that only had maybe 30 million users, that's too big of a deficit to make up, I think. So
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. The next story I want to talk about, speaking of PlayStation, Sony Santa Monica, they're hiring for an unannounced game. So actually they're hiring for an art director for a new unannounced game. So, Dan, what would you like to see Sony Santa Monica create next, other than the God of War franchise? Should it be another open world, like a semi-open world game, or something completely different? I mean, what are your thoughts on this? It's probably years off, but I mean,
definitely, it's not even worth talking. I don't know. It's it's a very long time away. But I don't know.
Also this week, Naughty Dog actually came up with some concept art for a new IP that they're supposedly going to be working on. It looked very Game of Thrones in nature, but
I don't know. I would like to see them make a 3D platformer, like mascot game, like something like Banjo-Kazooie, something nice and throwbacky like that. That'd be fun. We need more of those. I don't want no more open world games. I'm bored. They're all the effing same now. Like how like people are saying about again going back to Cyberpunk again. It's like people are like, well, it's kind of like another open world game. All the hallmarks are there, and
how about like a walking sim, but in an art style, like it's probably never going to happen, but I mean, like a walking sim, like with an art style, like God of War or something like that, and the scenery, in a AAA style of game, that would be really fun to see. But something more of a puzzle game or something like that. So
yeah, why not? Let's have them make a point and click game.
Yeah.
In ultra high res. That'd be amazing. But I don't know. Let's make something new and interesting that I haven't seen before. It's all a bit samey now.
That's the main point. Something we haven't seen before. Not something based on a previous IP that's been dead and dormant for years. Something entirely different and new. I think that would be the best thing to see, I think.
Sure would.
All right. Okay, so let's get to the next story. So Nintendo has been dominating the video game console market in Japan here to a staggering extent. I mean, 87% of the market
that is
dominated by the Switch. Yeah, it's just amazing how well they did. In 2020 alone, 6 million Switch units were sold.
A 3-year-old console.
Yeah.
Or
so
more. No,
it's amazing. And as we were talking about this, and I've been talking about this with people in the Discord communities as well. It's like mobile gaming just dominates the market here in Japan. Obviously, when it's not Nintendo. I mean, you either have a Switch or you have a mobile phone and you have a mobile game. So, but my question to you is, I mean, is Yeah. Is there any chance that the release of the PS5 and Series X will shake things up in 2021 when it comes to, competing against Nintendo for market share? I mean, I don't know about Japan. I don't think that's going to happen. But I
That's
mean,
a
what
lot.
about in the UK and the other regions out there?
Yeah, I think, well, definitely that Japan's a lost cause for anyone who isn't Nintendo.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's so hard because they're not really the same thing anymore. They're not even trying to compete with the PS5 and Xbox. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I think it has its audience, and definitely it's locked into that, and the audience is much bigger than. I mean, the casual audience is way bigger than the hardcore gamer, whatever that means, audience. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
And I still think it all depends on what games are coming out this year too. So
I don't even
if
know. Yeah,
if they get Breath of the Wild 2 out this year, it's over.
definitely.
It's
Well,
over.
it's already over. The numbers are done. It's the games they've already won. They've won like last year. Despite the fact that there were two brand new consoles out this year, the Switch outsold. It was the number one console again for like 3 years on the bounce.
Yeah.
Nuts. It's
Well,
nuts.
I wonder when it comes to stock issues though. I mean, like how many Switches in stock they had available and ready to sell in comparison to the Series X and the PlayStation
Yeah, but
5,
even so, it still doesn't shock the fact that it was a 3-year-old console. A
Yeah,
3-year-old
yeah.
console is
Yeah.
outselling
Yeah.
the PS5,
And
and regardless of not of stock availability, it's still been absolutely trounced. They could have both
next
had
year
full
you
stock.
probably have the Pro coming out too, so
I don't know if you will. They don't bloody need to. They are
yeah, they don't need
laughing.
to. Yeah.
No, but yeah, no, no chance. I mean, yeah, but then that's not the same market, is it? Your Sony isn't going for the household, gamer clan, nor is Xbox. They're still aiming. I mean, your average household doesn't give a crap about teraflops and ultra speed SSDs. They want colorful graphics and games that are fun to play, which is what the Switch has in abundance. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, a lot of positives for the Switch and sales and Nintendo, but there are also some negative stories as well. Of course, this week there are more lawsuits coming down the pipe pertaining
yeah,
Joycon Drift. So,
yeah.
Dan, do you know anybody that's had that problem with Joycon Drift? So, any of you out there that are listening that don't know what a Joycon Drift is, it's basically for example, it registers analog stick movement even though it's not being touched.
Mm.
So that's what Joycon Drift is. So have you had this problem, or do you know anybody out in the UK there that have had this problem? I know some people on Twitter and in the Discord community that have had some problems with Joycon Drift, but
No, I haven't. But one of my Joy-Cons wasn't charging properly. So I just sent off to Nintendo and they fixed it and sent it back to me, and it's not been a problem since.
I see.
I don't know what the problem is because, well, I do know. Obviously, it's a design flaw at this stage because it's proportional. There are a great deal of people with this issue, and it's obviously some sort of design flaw or some sort of design issue or
Yeah,
parts of.
those in Canada, in Quebec, that are bringing up these new lawsuits, they're basically saying it's a serious and hidden defect.
It is
That
that's exactly what it is, to be honest.
yeah, and
But
it's been persistent since 2017. Like you said, the Switch has
yeah,
been out for 3 years now,
yeah,
and
they've
they
known
haven't
about it.
fixed it. Yeah,
Yeah, no, even with the hardware updates, you'd think like with the Switch Lite and stuff, the Switch Lite can still get it. And of course, the Switch Lite, you can't remove your Joy Cons and send it off to
right.
Nintendo to get it repaired. So,
Yeah,
uh, yeah, they haven't updated it at all, which is really weird. But to be fair to Nintendo, you can just send it in and no questions asked, they'll just fix it for you.
yeah,
So, although it is a shitstorm, and it shouldn't have happened. Nintendo will send it to us. We'll send it back to you free of charge. I mean, when I sent mine off, I think they even paid for the courier. Like they give you a label, say attached to a box, send it to us. So it cost me nothing to get it repaired. I mean, it took I think it's about a week or maybe 10 days to get it back, which is. But I mean, obviously, if you get your bloody machine on day one, if you realize it's got its problem, that means you've got to wait like, possibly a week to 2 weeks before you can play the machine you bought on that day, which is not ideal. But yeah, I don't know. It's tricky.
And also in the news, I heard that in the UK, there was one customer that took Nintendo to a small claims court, and they won the cost of their defective Joycon back. So
it's possible, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of legal things going on, and like in Illinois, California, there's 2 in Washington at the moment, and then of course in France, there's suits as well as now in Quebec. So yeah.
Well, that's the small claims court one's pointless because it would have cost more for him to run that through the courts than it would have to whatever he got back. So what a waste of time. No, fair play to them. It proves a point. Imagine that, and that would set a precedent for other.
Yeah, maybe the publicity he got from it. Maybe he got the money back from his legal fees. Who knows?
Well, but then later court cases that aren't small claims and have maybe the bigger cases can use it as a reference. Say, well, this was taken to small claims and it was successful. So, yeah, interesting as a precedent.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our topic of the show. So, obviously, COVID has, affected the world since early 2020, and it's, been going on through the beginning of 2021. Of course, now in the United States, we have a new administration in Washington. So the Biden administration is going to be, pushing COVID relief and getting vaccinations out to more people as quickly as possible now. But what I want to talk about is something that's being discussed called the COVID effect. So basically, you have a lot of kids that are playing games and just hanging out online and in the social media space like never before. But with the COVID effect, ever since COVID has taken over the world, this is like just doubled. And now it's starting to be, discussed whether or not this COVID effect and the COVID-19 pandemic is going to have irreparable harm to children and family social interaction. Can it be repaired? You have this social media usage swell, and is it going to, once the pandemic comes to an end, is it going to start to come down in numbers? And I don't know. What do you think, Dan? With parents and families and social interaction and everything, it's really the COVID effect has been a detriment to that. But once this pandemic comes to an end, do you think this can be remedied, or do you think this is going to have lifelong repercussions?
What? No. Once reality kind of balances out and we start getting back to some sort of normalcy, I don't think this is going to be much of an issue. But it's like, what's the alternative? Like, kids are staying home and playing games all day. Well, what's the alternative then? You can't go out. You can't go anywhere. Nothing's open. There's nothing to friggin' do anyway. Yeah. So the idea of the COVID effect is well, who gives a shit? What? It's like me and my girlfriend. What do you want to do this weekend? Well, we can't do anything this weekend. The choices this weekend are go to the supermarket, or stay home and play games,
read books.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm being flippant, but yeah. So the options are to stay home and do things you would do at home normally. So yeah, people are going to play way more games, and it is. You see, it's one of those annoying things where video games are getting blamed for shitty parenting again. Yeah. If they're playing too much, don't let them play so much. Let them do other stuff for a while. But there's good things disadvantaged families who maybe don't have access to a PS5 and who don't have access to a PC or a laptop or whatever. They're using their PS4s to do online lessons through YouTube and stuff. So I don't really know what the issue is.
I think more and more parents are starting to, to feel this effect in the sense that they've failed their children when it comes to social interaction.
What can you do?
Yeah.
What's the alternative? There's a frigging pandemic killing millions of people. It's like, oh, you can't play too much video games. Fuck off. There are way bigger problems at the moment.
Yeah.
I guess,
but
no,
I was saying, there are alternatives. I mean, there's reading, there's exercising with one another, there's playing games that are not, like interactive or media based. I mean, you could play board games, you could play, chess. You can play other things like that. I mean, where you're bonding with your children, where you're spending more time with them, where instead of you are being on a screen playing a game and they are being on a screen playing a game, and there's no, social interaction, whatnot. So,
but that's not the game's fault.
Well, no, I'm not saying that, but yeah,
that's again shitty parenting and lack of engagement with your children. I mean, there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't say, "Hey, put Fortnite down for 2 minutes and come play, friggin' chess or something, or Monopoly or Fortnite Monopoly." It's Monopoly with Fortnite characters, and I don't know how or why that would work, but well, no, it makes sense because it is hard to be social at the minute. You can't go mix, you can't go see other people, you can't go anywhere, you can't have interactions like we used to. But again, people are connecting through games. Like people who are playing online, they are making new friends, they are being social, they are interacting with other people. So
yeah, and we've talked about this before on the podcast. I mean, mediums like Twitch. I mean, live streaming, for example, is exploded.
It's incredibly
because of the pandemic. Yeah,
but it's within the confines of what is available to us. So, when to be concerned is after COVID. If this is still as prevalent, if people aren't going out, people are staying home and spending way more time online, way more time on games, way more time on social media, post lockdown, that's when there should be concern. That's when alarm bells should be raised because, if there's no excuse anymore, you should be out and about. You should be meeting people. You should be socializing in real life. So.
Final question about this for you: Have children in your area dealt with how have they dealt with this pandemic? And when it comes to their family relationships, have they grown closer, or have they begun to grow more distant because of the hanging on to playing the games and the media and being in social media and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and everything like that?
Well, no one I know. I mean, I only have a couple of friends who have kids, and they're not big gamers, nor are their kids big gamers, so I can't really comment on that. But I know that around here, there's been a massive push to do homeschooling, get your kids back to school as soon as possible. So they've had that element of social interaction with other people. But I don't know.
Yeah, well, here in Japan, I mean, there's some families that won't even let their kids play video games. They're stuck on their kids preparing for tests and studying. There was one kid I used to teach. He, I asked him, "Have you, ever played any Nintendo Switch games or anything like that?" And he said, "No, my parents don't let me play video games."
Can you imagine? You want to make your kids' lives as miserable as friggin' possible for the sake of a test.
Just sad. reading books, and preparing for tests. That's about it. So, I mean, I think out here in this society, I mean, other than those that are, using cell phones all day and stuff like that, I don't think this COVID effect is going to have any kind of detriment once the pandemic ends, because they're just going to go back to doing what they did every day anyway, just studying and reading books. And
in terms of socialness and in engagement with other people. Studying all day is as detrimental as gaming all day.
I agree. Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, in terms of education and your own well-being, studying is way, way better than gaming. I'm not even going to argue with that. Obviously, studying over gaming every time. But in terms of your interaction with human beings and your personal development and your social development, those two are as bad as each other. Studying all day and gaming all day, they are both equally detrimental. And we know people I knew people in Japan who there are people in Japan who just don't have personalities.
Right.
And they can't engage with other people on any other level because before
No
school
eye contact, no nothing. Yeah.
before school they went to a club. During school they were at school, at home. So after school they went to cram school, makeup school. Then when they got home they did homework. So for 15 hours a day, all you're doing is friggin' studying. No time for social interaction and no time for engagement with other people. And it's shocking the amount of people who cannot maintain relationships, who cannot engage with other human beings simply because they just don't know how. They can do maths really bloody well. God damn, their algebra is amazing. But have them talk to another human being about something, forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it. So
the 22nd century is when that comes around, that's going to be a little bit a little bit worrisome maybe.
Everything is about balance and just oh god.
Yeah.
Just think about some of the people who used to talk to us man alive. And as you know, this has a knock-on effect that in Japan, the amount of people who aren't married and aren't having kids is actually becoming an issue. The Japanese government are shitting themselves because in 20 years, the population is going to halve.
It's exploding. I mean, yeah.
No one's having kids and everyone's living way too long in Japan. It's a freaking big.
They're living with their parents into their 50s. It's amazing. Yeah. Okay. Well, the COVID effect. Yeah. So we shall see. It'll be interesting to see into later this year and into next year how this COVID effect, when it comes to family and social interaction and with children and parents, how this works itself out. So. All right. Okay. So next up is Dan's retro topic of the week. So Dan, sing it, man.
Retro topic of the week.
Your voice was starting to crack there, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I lost enthusiasm about halfway through.
Okay. So, of course, Dan's retro topic again this week is pre-recorded, but it is based this week on Ace Combat, is it not?
Yeah, the amazing air combat flight simulator series initially on the Sony platforms. Yeah, hell of a game. I've been playing it again. I played it again the other day, and it's just so bloody good. And it was surprising because I played 7 not long ago, and Ace Combat, Air Combat, and Ace Combat 7, they're pretty much the same game. It's nothing's changed, but that's the good thing about it because they got it so right the first time round. 7 was amazing. If you haven't played 7, people go out and play Ace Combat 7. It's excellent. Unknown skies unknown. Yeah, it's
Skies Unknown, I think. But how similar is Ace Combat to the new Star Wars Rogue Squadron?
I think Rogue Squadron's even. Oh yeah, it's Squadrons. Yeah.
Squadrons. I'm sorry, not Rogue Squadron. Star Wars Squadrons. Yeah.
Essentially, because so Squadrons is even more arcadey and even more dumbed down than freaking. I don't know. Yeah, no, it is actually. I think it is. Yeah, it's even more. Squadron is super basic. Yeah. I'm not saying that 7's a sim. There's a bit more going on in 7. Yeah, I don't know. And of course, it's 7's had. At the time it came out, had 23 years of experience in making Ace Combat games. So, they're both very, very good. If you like Star Wars, go for the Star Wars one. If you like more kind of real world-ish, go for the Ace Combat ones. But, yeah.
Okay. So, let's take a listen to Dan's retro topic of the week.
Best part of the show. Love this.
Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo!
Ace Combat is a series of arcade-style flight combat games. There have been 8 main installments in the franchise dating back to the original PlayStation and the most recent Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, which came out on the PS4, Xbox and PC in 2019, and it featured VR support. There were 2 arcade games that preceded Air Combat, Air Combat, and Air Combat 22. These were simple dogfighting games rendered in 3D, which in 1993 would have looked fairly decent. Chase down your targets within the time limit. If you succeed, an additional harder enemy arrives. The sequel, Air Combat 22, was pretty much the same game with greater land and aircraft detail, and a couple more enemy types. The games have a semi-prequel status to the console series. So the arcade games were pretty good, and a 3D aerial combat game would be a great fit for Sony's first console. Namco tasked Kazumi Mizuno to produce, and Masanori Kato to design the game. Of course, this being 1993, severe changes had to be made to the arcade games Air Combat was based on. Gone was the semi-serious nature of the arcade to be replaced with a fun, stripped-down combat shooter. This applied to the look of the game too. The arcade was grey, green and blue, while the console had bright, multicoloured aircraft all adorned in the Air Combat Phoenix logo and colour scheme. Each playable craft had an impossibly large supply of missiles and bullets. The amount of damage a plane could receive remained fairly consistent, with only a single missile and a couple of lucky bullets enough to blow you out the sky. The game takes place on a fictionalised Earth, with many of the countries and locations making repeat appearances throughout the series. Not that it particularly matters, but apparently the baddies, their exact affiliation is unknown, have invaded the Scully Islands. The fair natives of this land cannot repel the invading militia, and turn to private contractors to come in and kick some bottom. In later games in the series, you would be a pilot who was aligned with one side or another in the ongoing battles between the Ocean continent and its neighbours. So, your mercenary protagonist straps on his helmet and jumps into one of 16 real-world aircraft, each carrying 9,999 bullets and 65 missiles. At the start, only 2 fighters are available, but more can be bought as you encounter them in-game and shoot them down. The payment you receive for each successful mission is colossal, and building a collection of craft is fun. Lose a plane in a mission, and you can buy it again later. Each mission is preceded with a briefing session which absolutely always amounts to destroy the targets marked TGT on your HUD. But the environments are varied and there are buildings and bridges to zoom around. As is the case with several of the Ace Combat series, the final boss is an enormous flying fortress covered in machine guns and rocket launchers. There are a couple of trench run style levels where you have to fly fast and low down a canyon, and these are pretty tight, so you best leave the heavy ships at home and get yourself something nimble. It's glorious. It's exactly what a console flight game should be. Fast, frenetic, and way more fun than it has any right to be. It's one of those games where you finish it and instantly replay the game on hard. And hard mode isn't oppressive. It would be very easy to ramp up the enemy damage and health to 11. But the difficulty is subtly increased. Buying ships is no longer necessary if you've already finished the game on normal, and you can select from a collection of wingmen who would support you on your mission. All in all, it is a quality launch title and a strong introduction to a series that is still going strong today. Not only that, but it has seen several Air Combat franchises challenge it over the years, none of which are still going. The foundation established by Air Combat ensured the series' longevity, and I cannot wait to see what Project Aces come up with in the inevitable Ace Combat 8. Air Combat was published by Namco in 1995 for the Sony PlayStation. It's not available on the PSN PS Classics, nor is it on the PS Classic Mini Console. Buying second-hand on original hardware or emulation is your best bet.
Okay, thanks, Dan, for that on the Ace Combat series. That was really cool. So, Dan, he does his retro topic of the week every week, and this one was pre-recorded. So, thank you so much for that. It was really cool and interesting. So,
thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our new game releases via Metacritic for the week of January 25th through the 31st. Okay, so let me go ahead and move on to that here. Oh, actually, before we do that, I have the December data for the NPD for the top-selling games, digital and physical, for the month of December. So I want to run down the list here of the top 10 games. Okay. So number 10 was Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Number 9 was Immortals Phoenix Rising, of course, from Ubisoft, the new game from Ubisoft. Number 8 was NBA 2K21. Number 7, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Wow.
Number 6, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Yeah, so some more Nintendo titles in there. So now the top 5. Number 5, Madden NFL 21. Number 4, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. And number 3, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Number 2, Cyberpunk 2077. And Dan, what do you think the number 1 game on the NPD chart for December was?
I don't know. What even came out?
Give a guess.
Star Wars Squadrons. It was Game of the Year 2020.
No.
Oh, Lord.
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War was ranked number 1.
So. Holy shit, I forgot that game even existed.
Yeah, Call of Duty, man.
People are still buying that crap. Oh my word. Right, fair play to them. Bloody hell. Really?
Yeah, so
I
Call of Duty.
Forgotten that game even came out. Okay.
Yeah. So top 10 titles by promotional volume. So Mortal Kombat 11 was number 10. Ratchet and Clank, number 9. Last of Us Remastered. Apex Legends. Destiny 2. Horizon Zero Dawn. Number 4 was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which we just mentioned at number 1 for sales. Number 3, God of War. Number 2, Rocket League. And number 1, of course, Fortnite.
Of course, yeah.
So by promotional volume, volumes. So of course, with all the skins and everything, So that was the NPD numbers for December. So each month, I'll probably towards the end of the month, I will try to give the previous month's results via NPD. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the games via Metacritic. So we have 6 games on the list this week for the week of January 25th through 31st. So the first game on the list, Atelier Ryza 2, Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy. Comes out on January 26th on PS5, PS4, PC, and Nintendo Switch. So Dan, have you ever heard of this series?
I think I've seen it advertised on the previous entries in the Switch have been advertised, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay. So 3 years have passed since Ryza's secret grand adventure on Kirkin Island. Ryza, the only member of her group to remain on the island, receives a letter from her friend telling her about ruins that may be related to alchemy, along with a mysterious request involving a glowing stone. So role-playing Japanese-style RPG, no online multiplayer, comes out on January 26th. So... yeah, so another JRPG style of game. Next up on the list, Cyber Shadow comes out on January 26th for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. So it doesn't have any mention of next-gen consoles here, but so Cyber Shadow. The world has been taken over by synthetic life forms. A desperate plea for help sets Shadow on a journey to uncover what started the path to perpetual ruin. Slash through the techno hordes, leap past traps, and nimbly navigate the ruins of Mecha City. So it's an action 2D platformer coming out on the 26th. So, yeah, another platformer. Okay, here's the big one, Dan. The Medium, coming out on January 28th for Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and PC. It will be Game Pass day 1. So, The Medium.
Yeah,
become a medium. Yeah, become a medium living in 2 different worlds, the real one and the spirit one. Haunted by the vision of a child's murder, you travel to an abandoned hotel resort, which many years ago became the stage of an unthinkable tragedy. There you begin your search for difficult answers. So action, adventure, survival, no online multiplayer, and it comes out on the 28th. So Dan, what do you think? Do you think this could be one of the hot games for the month?
It's definitely possible. Yeah. I'm certainly intrigued by it. If I could be asked, no, is it on Xbox One?
Yes,
as well. Oh, I might give it a go then. Yeah, all right.
Yep. And it's on Game Pass day 1, like I said.
Yeah,
before.
yeah. So that's good. I mean, again, I can't say enough good things about Xbox Game Pass. I think it's amazing. I think it's the only thing that Sony. It's the only thing that Sony should be worried about. It's the only thing that Microsoft has really got going for it is the amazing Game Pass. Yeah, but no, I'd like to play that. I've seen a trailer for it. It does look interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and all of you should go check out my YouTube channel at Expat 2020 Gaming. I do have a preview release trailer video out for the Medium now as well. So please go check that out. And looks pretty good, man.
Yeah,
so
it does.
I'm probably going to be live streaming it on my Twitch channel day one. So looking forward to that. So, okay, next up on the list, the Yakuza Remastered Collection comes out on January 28th for PC and Xbox One.
I was going to say, yeah, we had that like a year ago. I've had it on my shelf unopened for like God knows how long.
Yeah, it's a compilation. Yeah, so complete the Dragon of Dojima's journey. Celebrate Kazuma Kiryu's saga with the beautifully remastered Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 with restored content and updated localization in 1080p and 60 frames per second. Experience the complete Yakuza collection on one console for the first time in history. And I think this collection is also coming to Game Pass too. So in the coming weeks. Yeah. It's a compilation, no online multiplayer. So on the 28th. So next up on the list.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
Say that they are amazing. They are, that's a lot. They are a lot of value. Those games are huge. There's so much to do. But yeah, no, I mean, I've got them all now, except for the most recent one. I haven't got Like a Dragon, but I've got 0 up to 6, and I've got this collection because it came out ages ago on the PS. And yeah, they are brilliant games.
Shout out to Corellian Jedi. He's been a guest on our show before. He's played through Yakuza 7, and he said it was one of his best games of 2020. He really enjoyed playing it. So yeah. Cool. And I think it was his first time playing a Yakuza game too. So, he really enjoyed it. So, okay, next up on the list, Gods Will Fall, coming out on January 29th for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. Oof. So, wonder how that's going to run on the Switch. So, the gods' torturous rule over humanity has lasted for millennia. Bent on cruelty and suffering, they demand to be served with blind worship through an oath of fealty pledged from every man, woman, and child. To those who don't submit to the gods' will, a slow and merciless death awaits. So, from Clever Beans, the developer, action adventure, comes out on the 29th. Have you heard about this one, Dan? Gods Will Fall.
No, I haven't. No. Sounds intriguing.
Yeah. And the last game on the list, RE0, Starting Life in Another World, The Prophecy of the Throne. So coming on January 29th, the PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So it's another adventure RPG. Okay. So 1 month after Subaru's new life in Another World began, an emissary sent by the royal castle suddenly appears with news that the royal selection has been postponed, but offers no reason as to why the postponement of this grand event that decides the next ruler of the kingdom occurs. So, adventure visual novel. So it's a visual novel.
Okay. Yeah.
So it comes out on the 29th.
Okay.
Yeah. So that tops the list for this week. So we have 6 games on the list. Dan, which is your pick for the week?
Probably Yakuza collection. It's pretty damn good. I mean, even though I've already got it. Because again, that you've probably got, the minimum, just base it is like 40 hours per game. If you want to do everything, I mean, that's a friggin' challenge. You're probably doubling that, and you've got 3 of those in that package. It's 3, 4, and 5, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And 6 is its own game. You got to buy that separately, but yeah, no, that's probably the one for me. That's and of course, yeah, they're all belters. A bit samey, admittedly. You wouldn't want to play like one after the other. You wouldn't want to play, 3, then immediately start 4, then because they are very, very similar. So
what do you think, Dan? Can you start the Yakuza series just in your opinion, like playing 7 from the beginning, or having to go all the way to the beginning and playing Yakuza 0?
Well, 7 is its own thing. 7 is like a kind of like a reboot because it's not directly. Well, there are some crossover characters and stuff. Yeah. I believe I haven't played it, so I don't really know. I'm speaking slightly out of turn here, but I know that the original 7 games, 0 and then 1 to 6, they are all connected because they're all the same protagonist, but things do happen and they do relate to other stuff in the game. So jumping straight into a later one in the series would be quite daunting, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think, like a Dragon, you can just jump in and really enjoy, and there'll be in jokes and references, but I don't think it'll be to the detriment of your understanding and your enjoyment of the game itself. So yeah.
Well, my pick of the week is The Medium.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm really, really looking forward to playing that one, and this is going to start to define what momentum Game Pass has this year, I think. As we start to see more and more games roll out day one.
Yeah.
So this will be a good start for them. And I'm into the psychological type of horror and survival type of game that this is going to be bringing. So I'm looking forward to it a lot. So The Medium is my choice for this week.
That's fair enough.
Yep. Okay. So now let me get to this here. Before we conclude our episode today, Dan, I want to let everyone know where you can find me on social media.
Mm-hmm.
On social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at expat_2020, and on my YouTube channels, Expat 2020 Gaming, where you can see my latest videos related to new game releases, such as Hitman and Hitman 3 and The Medium, game trailer impressions, live streaming clips and highlights. I just put out another highlight as well on Gears 5 DLC for Hive Busters. It's pretty funny. Like a 1.5 minute highlight clip of me freezing juvies.
Nice.
As well as this podcast, once uploaded to free podcast feed on Tuesdays. Additionally, I can be found on a new YouTube channel called The Arena Citadel, which will be our new hub for live YouTube gaming and entertainment related content. You can also find me on Facebook at Expat 2020, and I have a Discord server named the Expat 2020 Arena, where all of you are welcome to join and support other content creators, discuss anything and everything related to video games, promote your live streaming, as well as leave questions and comments for the podcast. I'm also a live streamer and a Twitch affiliate, and you can catch my live streams on twitch.tv/expat2020, as I do gaming live streams and a supplement to the podcast Monday through Friday, called The Arena, Multiplatform Gaming News weekday live stream, which the Friday live stream edition will be uploaded to the Arena Citadel YouTube channel. And that is on my Twitch channel at 1:15 in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time, 4:15 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time, and out there where you are, Dan, 9:15 in the evening GMT. So if you can catch the Gaming News live stream, I'd really appreciate it. And finally, you can also find my website for gaming content at expat2020.live. So that does it for me. Dan, how about you? Where can people find you on social media, and what are you going to be playing this week?
So I'm on Twitch, but I stream once a week on a Wednesday night about 7 hours. About 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock GMT. I start streaming. I stream classics, old retro stuff. I different game every week. I think this week I'm going to stream a bit of the X-Files game. So if you like X-Files and
awesome,
say hi, because it's an amazing game
and an amazing series.
Yeah. I'm on. So yeah, on my Twitch is press start to game, all one word. Press start to game. Come find me on Twitch. And I do little odd things, but Wednesday is the main one. And I'm on YouTube as well. Press start to game is my channel, and I do some stuff in there, but not a lot at the minute. I'm thinking of taking my retro topics of the week and compiling them and putting gameplay footage and posting them as a little omnibus. So at the end of the month, I'll take all of our retro topics, put a lot of gameplay footage and extra stuff in there, and upload them to my channel. But that's it for me.
All right. Thanks, Dan. So to end the show today, our indie recording artist spotlight is on Icarus, inspired by the French new disco electro scene and synthwave and 1980s sci-fi movies.
Well, there you go.
From the title song of his album called All Your Friends. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Retro Dan.
God.
We hope to see you in the next one, man. So take care, everyone. Peace out.
Bye.